Yeah, when it comes to listening, I want him to listen to this podcast. Yeah.
You are now listening to the IELTS podcast.
Hello there, podcast listeners. In this episode, we're going to speak to Jong, who's an IELTS instructor from the Philippines. I found him online, and he's going to share some awesome advice about the IELTS test. So, hello there, Jong. How are you today?
Hi, Ben.
Hi
Nice to
there.
meet you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Right then. So,
Uh,
John, could you tell us a bit about yourself, please? How long you've been teaching and how you usually teach online in an academy or wherever?
okay, I have been teaching for about 3 years now. More than 3 years, actually. I started last 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that was 2011. I started in Italki in 2012.
Right.
So at first I started teaching Asian students, so mostly Japanese, Chinese, Koreans. And then when I got the opportunity to teach like European people, it's via Italki.
Right. I see
Yeah.
then. Okay. And do you have like a special technique or tips that you tell the students when you start teaching them? Can you give any like exercises for a student to do?
Yeah, of course. Basically, part one of IELTS, it's usually personal questions. It's some of the students, it's easy for them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
It's very personal. So it's like, okay, I I do not really focus more on part one. I focus more on part two and part three. But time to time, I go to part one. Like part two, I usually give them a lot of questions,
I
a lot.
see. Yes.
Like, okay, I'll give you 2 minutes, 1 minute to prepare, give you 2 minutes to talk. And then after that, we will go to part three, which is the follow-up questions.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. And that's how you would prepare them, just question after question after question, just non-stop.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
s
And of course, you need to correct their answers.
Yes. Yes. Is that the technique you would use for improving the level? Do you give them any phrases or any like methodologies for attacking part two or part
Oh,
three?
of course.
Oh.
First, you need to tell like the introduction,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to give at least 3 examples, okay,
Uh-huh. I
for the
see.
answer. And after that, you need to, you need to come up.
For part two.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So if this is your topic, you need to talk about that. Give at least 3 examples and then come up with a solution, or something like come up with your what do you go with your final like final answer.
Yeah, yeah, like a concluding sentence or something, just to
Exactly.
round off the talk and signal to the examiner that your speech or your mini presentation has ended. Yeah,
Like a
as
wrap up of everything, right?
exactly. For part three, how do you push the students on that, or do you have a methodology for improving their level when they're answering part three questions?
Usually part three are this is intense. So usually it's about the topic on part two, but it's way more beyond that. So you need
Hmm.
to really think about it, right? So part three, I usually it's like part three is difficult for them because some of them they cram when it comes to time and they really think and there's a lot of dead air,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I told them, do not like if you didn't hear the question, if you didn't understand the question, do not just answer the questions immediately.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just try to
yeah.
think a lot, or what do you go, but do not try to like there's no dead air. Just think if the question is being given to you, just try to think as fast as you can, and if you cannot answer the question, just ask, I'm sorry, can you rephrase the question? I'm sorry, can you what's this? Can you repeat it?
Yeah.
Something
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah. And also doing that, they can gain a little bit of extra time just
Yeah.
to think of an answer. And this, I just thought now that if you're in the exam and the examiner gives you a question, you're not entirely sure what to say, you could just ask him to rephrase it again, just to buy
Yes.
a few more seconds, even though you understood
Exactly.
it, but you could just get a few more seconds just so you could compose your answer and
Yeah.
yeah, answer in a sort of like more organized way because you've had more time to prepare
To
for
give a
it.
concrete answer, something like that.
Sorry?
To give you like to give them a concrete answer.
Yes, yes, absolutely, yeah. Just to help you, yeah, come
Yeah.
to gain your opinion or to formulate your answer.
But I told them just please do not answer anything. Just
Yes,
answer with sense, right?
yes.
So if you like try to tell them to rephrase the question so you can think more.
Exactly, exactly, yes. That's a good point. How would you help a student if they were really nervous going into the exam?
Some of the students, yeah, they are nervous because
Mm.
it's time pressure, right? So
Hmm.
it's like there's time. So I told them, do not think about the time. I want you to just keep on talking and talking. But some of them, they really do not finish the 2 minutes when it comes to part two.
Yeah,
That, that's really a problem for some of the students. So I motivate them, oh, that's good. So you need to tell them you need to tell them that it's good. And
mm.
then I told them, you didn't, that's good, but it's not enough.
Yeah,
So I want you to study this topic, and we will have this topic on our next lesson.
I see. Yeah, so
But I
give,
tell them, do not memorize questions, do not memorize answers. That is really not good. I really don't like them like while they're answering and just like looking up there, remembering what says they have memorized. Ah, that's terrible. So I told them, do not memorize.
I mean, there was one tutor a few episodes ago, and he recommended just memorizing just two or three little small phrases that are kind of like universal, but just mini confidence boosters that you can use sort of like just finishing off task two with. And that's a little story about my insert topic of task two card. That's a little story, or that's my presentation about my favorite childhood friend, or that's a little story about a building in my city or whatever. You know, I think memorizing those kinds of things is okay, just small mini
Yeah, that's
phrases.
fine. That's
Sorry?
fine.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But I know what you mean when the student memorizes a whole answer and it's
Yeah. They memorize the whole answer and then just try to just change the words
yeah.
there just to put the correct answer. It's like, no, please do not memorize answers.
Yeah, and I liked your idea as well of giving them a topic in advance just so they can fully prepare for it because I think that is a very good way to improve confidence because if you've prepared for about 10 different topics, you know,
Mhm.
and you've gone online and you've had a look at the possible speaking cards and you've
Yeah,
prepared with a friend. They don't even have to be a native speaker or even a tutor, but you can just talk with a friend at least, or even just do some research online and get that vocabulary and get
exactly.
accustomed to it, find out how it's pronounced, and then you can start incorporating it in your topics.
Exactly. They give them most. I have like about 10 pages of pure question, like part two of IELTS. So I
Yeah.
give it to them.
Yeah, yeah. That reminds me of actually one technique I used to use to help prepare students. I would have a massive list of questions and I would just go through it and it was just endless. It was just endless and I used it as a warm-up technique, you know, but
Uh-huh.
just bang, 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 bang. Just like rapid and yeah, some of the students would be sweating afterwards, and I'd just be walking around. But yeah, it's definitely a good technique. That. Do you have any other advice regarding the other topics? Maybe the reading, the writing, or the listening?
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to listening, I want them to listen to this podcast. Yeah, I really encourage them. Like because sometimes I just send them what they call this one, like the CD or was it the MP3 or the file, and then
Yeah.
just hear this one and just answer. Okay,
Hmm.
but we will kill a lot of time.
I see.
Uh,
I see.
yeah, I do not like that. So basically, I read or I tell them. uh, I want you to really, listen to podcasts.
Hmm.
That is really important for listening. Well,
Listen
yeah,
as much as possible. Listen as much as possible, 24/7. When they're having breakfast, when they're waiting for the bus, when they're
yeah. When they're
in the
inside,
gym.
yeah, they're inside the subway.
Hmm.
Listen, okay. And I told them, I want you to record this class, then listen to this when you're like on the subway, when you're like walking, when you're riding your bike, something
Hmm.
like that, or when you're in
Yeah.
your car. Listen to this.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And that's just reminded me of one thing when, like for the students who are getting their essay corrected, like with the screen capture video, I think it would be wise as well for them to
Yeah.
get the MP3 from the video with mp3 to vid.com or something like that. Just put in the link and they can get the MP3 from it, fill up the phone, and they can listen to the what they wrote and in the correct way to say it. And I think listening to it a few times will help you help the student absorb the actual information. But yeah, that's just one tip there that I just thought of.
Oh,
Okay then.
interesting.
Thank you. Okay, John. So we're coming to an end of the interview now. If there were any students who would want a class with you, how should they do it? How can they get in contact with you?
You can book a lesson on my italki.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alrighty then. Well, I'll put up the your email and the italki link. And yeah, italki, by the way, is a platform where you can find online teachers. You can read their evaluations. You can see how they teach. And this is how I found Jong. Okay then. Thank you very much for that. Do you have any
Oh,
final last words?
oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you for this opportunity. And for those future students who are listening, thank you so much. I hope you can book a class. Just read. There's the link. Read. I
Uh-huh.
hope you can read some of the comments of the students. And then yeah, I'll see you soon, guys.